Hey gamers, it's Virginia, the Buckeye Gamer here, and I am back with actually a very special video that I have been wanting to do for a long time. A couple of reasons why I put it off for so long is, number one, I wanted to, it took me a while to figure out exactly what games I was going to put in here. There was a couple that I knew I was dead set on, but then there was also a few that I wasn't so sure. Second of all, I wanted to make sure that I could do this video right. This video, of course, is not scripted or anything, but I wanted to be in the right mood for it, and just have everything work out as it should. So, with that being said, if you couldn't tell by the title, this is 9 games that influenced me as a gamer. And I feel it's only appropriate to start off where it all began with me, and that is Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES. This is actually my husband's copy. I don't have a copy of my own currently, but I will here eventually. So, story of this. I played this game, I think around 4 years old. 4 or 5 years old. I know I was just getting into kindergarten. But my cousin back then had an NES. I want to say it was the top loader, but it could have been, the front loader, the original. That I can't really recall. But to my recollection, this is the first experience I had with a video game. And I was absolutely blown away. Because little 4 or 5-year-old me, I pushed a button and I can make Mario do stuff. And to me, that was absolutely phenomenal. Like there was nothing else like it in the world. And in a way, there still isn't. You know what I mean? But it was from that moment on that I was hooked on video games. Now, I didn't get my own console until a few years later. I got the PlayStation 1, the Nintendo 64, and the Game Boy Color were my first experience with consoles, as far as owning them. But yeah, this Super Mario Bros. 3 will forever have a special place in my heart as a gamer, because without this, I probably would never have gotten into video games. It's hard to tell. I might still have. But this cemented it for me, and I'm forever grateful for that. Gonna have a little bit there for the thumbnail. Alright, we'll see. Alright, and then the next game on my games that influenced me is actually a terrible game, now that I look back on it, but back in the day I actually did enjoy it, and that's Hey You Pikachu on the Nintendo 64. Now, again, a little tidbit with this one, I do have a pretty interesting story for this. When I was younger, I did have issues with learning disabilities. Now, I am far better than I was back then, although I still have issues every now and again. But again, I'm far better. Now, at that time, though, about 11, 12 years old, I was still having issues with communicating properly. Like, I could talk plainly, it's just that as far as getting it out and everything was really hard for me to do. And playing Hey You Pikachu actually helped my communication skills, believe it or not. Because I had to get my words out to Pikachu if I wanted him to do stuff. And that definitely helped. It helped out quite a bit. Now, I had other things that, through the years that did as well. But Hey You Pikachu definitely gave me what I need to get going. So, again, forever grateful for that. And then my next one here is a PS1 game, and that is Legend of Mana. Now, the case looks a little different because this is a custom case. The original one I have for this was completely beat up, so I wanted to get a new one. Now, this is not the original copy I had as a kid, but I wanted it back so bad. I do have it digital on the PS3, but I want it so bad in physical version, so I actually didn't pay too much for it. I was surprised. But this game, the reason I have it on this list is this was my first taste of a real RPG. Now, Legend of Mana is hit or miss, I will admit. It can get a little confusing as far as following the storyline. But the amount of time I put into it, I loved this game. Like, once I could kind of semi-figure it out, I loved it. I would love to see it get a remaster or a remake at some point. Like, I would buy that up, even if it's a digital-only release. Like, I would buy it up. I want so bad to play a remake of this. There's a lot of things that they could change, like make the ability to follow a story a little more streamlined, but it was fun. Like, I had another cousin who was really into RPGs. He's a little bit younger than me. We still game together every now and again. But he asked me if I could play this with him because it is multiplayer. and I enjoyed it. Again, once I figured out what I was able to, what I had to do, I loved it. I had a great time each time I sat down to play it. I was always figuring out little secrets and, tips along the way and everything. So, Legend of Mana, first RPG. Now, I did play Pokemon, and things like that beforehand, but as far as a true down-to-earth JRPG, Legend of Mana was my first. And then the next one, so this is the last one that influenced me as a kid. The rest from here on out are going to be from my adult gaming days. The next one here is Animal Crossing for the GameCube. Now, this one, simply put, sparked the creativity in me. I normally don't like games that don't have a plot attached to them. Like, that's why I love open world games, adventures RPGs and things like that. You have an objective to meet, there's a story, but you can kind of go about it your own way. So, like, games like Minecraft and things that, not that it's not a good game. Like, Minecraft has been insanely popular and still is to this day. And I do play it every now and again because I have nephews and all that are into Minecraft. And we do play together once in a while. But doesn't really have a storyline to follow. And that kind of loses the momentum for me. But Animal Crossing's a little bit different. Because there's just so much more involved into it. Like, you had daily tasks you could do. And different things like that. And I absolutely love it. Now, again, this is not the same one I owned as a child. I got this as an adult, and as you can see, I need to get a new case for it because this one's really beat up. But I bought it like that, so it's my fault for not paying attention. But I still love the original Animal Crossing to this day. I play New Leaf almost constantly. I wouldn't say constantly, but almost on a daily basis. So yeah, and I'm super excited for New Horizons. I do plan on getting that day one. But I've loved every single Animal Crossing installment. Even the spin-offs, with the exception of Amiibo Festival. That game was horrible, but again, story for another day. So anyway, Animal Crossing on this list. Alright, so the next few here, again, are from my days of gaming as an adult. And then the next one, this is a Wii title. Now, I'm actually including the entire series, but the only reason I just have this one game here is because, number one, it is my favorite out of the series. And number two, I don't have all the games in the franchise. And that would be Trauma Team for the Wii. Now, this one, as many of you may know, I do work in medicine. And this game actually really got me to love hospital and surgical simulation games. Like, even if they're terrible, I will sit down and play them. I may not put a ton of time into them. But this got me hooked on games like that. Now, the Trauma Center series in its entirety is basically a surgical simulator. What's different about Trauma Team is you not only have surgery, but you have first responder, you have forensics, that's actually my favorite part. You have endoscopy, let's see, you have orthopedics. There's a lot that's involved in this one. And I really need to get at least the Wii U so I can get back to playing these again. But I'm so glad I got rid of this because the publisher Atlas, if you can see down here in the corner, at least up until this generation, I think this generation they've gotten a bit better. But every generation prior, they have been notoriously bad about their low print run. So I'm glad I held on to this one because these games, I'm pretty sure, are going to go up in price. I don't think they have yet, but just wait. Within the next year or two, these games are going to skyrocket in price. And for good reason, because they're good games. Trauma Team, and again, the Trauma Center series as a whole, absolutely love, love, love. Alright, and then the last three here are actually PS4 games. The first one I'm going to pull out is The Last of Us Remastered. And the only reason I have this in here is this is the first game that had a cutscene that made me bawl my eyes out. And for those of you that have played The Last of Us, I think you know which scene I'm talking about, but I'm going to leave it at that. It's a fantastic game. I have not completed it yet, which I need to because part 2 is coming out next year. So I really need to get on this, but I can't do that because I keep getting new games. I'm not going to know when to stop. I mean, let's just face it. That's part of the collector/gamer in me. But again, Last of Us 2, it technically I think it is classified as a survival horror game, which I typically am not into that franchise, but this is a little bit different. I do, again, when I played of it, I thoroughly enjoyed, but it's been so long since I picked it up, I'm probably going to have to just start over. So, anyway, there's The Last of Us. And then the last two I'm actually going to bundle together because they are of the same franchise and the story attached to them are similar. And that's Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Now, I may have told this story before on an Assassin's Creed Odyssey live stream, but basically the story of me and Assassin's Creed starts off with the Xbox One. And I don't currently have any physical Xbox One Assassin's Creed games. I do have a few digital. But that's where Black Flag comes in. Now, what had happened was, one night when I was messing around on my Xbox One, this was back when that was my preferred console for this generation. Because the PS4 started off really, really slow. So don't ask me why. But anyhow, this game actually was a free download on Games with Gold. So I figured I would give it a shot. You know, at least if I don't like it, I didn't spend any money on it, I'll just delete it off my hard drive. So I get started in it, you know, like the first hour or so was kind of lackluster. But once I really got into the story, like I couldn't help but fall in love with Black Flag. Now, unfortunately, I have not beaten this game, and the main reason for that is the ocean missions, like when you're on the ship and everything like that. I had a really hard time with the controls on that. And it might just be me because I've seen people, like gameplay videos and all of that, where people do just awesome on it. It's probably just me. That's why I haven't really beaten this yet. Now I need to get back into it, of course. And somehow, though, I missed Unity completely because when this came out, I think Unity might have just got released. But it's a good thing I did because for those of you that don't know, when Unity first launched, it was plagued with bugs. Like, I think they had to do a patch that was about the same size as it, you know, if not bigger than the actual game. And actually got so bad to the point that Ubisoft was doing one of two things. They were either offering the DLC for the game for free, or if you purchased the DLC, they would give you a selection of free games for your choosing. So I did eventually get Unity, and it's not, you know, now that the patches are in and everything, it's not a terrible game, but I wouldn't call it my favorite in the series. It definitely has its flaws. And then Assassin's Creed Syndicate is the game that made this franchise stick. Now again, this one is a hit or miss, and I kind of blame that on the issues with Unity. Is this game perfect by any means? No. It definitely has its glitches, its frame rate drops, and things like that, but definitely did come off the shelf a lot better when it initially got released. And I think this is a day one copy. For some reason, I can't remember. But I did get DLC with it and a few other things. But yeah, this Syndicate is what made it stick. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a story of what is currently my all-time favorite video game franchise. Now that may change down the road because I've gotten into Skyrim recently, which I think I'm going to do some live stream on that because that game is awesome. Why it took me so long to get into it, I have no idea. But I'm thinking about checking out the other Elder Scrolls games, even the online ones, so could be a possibility that Elder Scrolls will take that #1 spot. We will see. Yakuza is another one of my favorite games, which when that remaster collection comes out physically, I am going to unbox that here on this channel. Going to try to do it day one. We'll see. Alright guys, one of my longer videos as of late here, I know I did not an unboxing, but a video game haul recently that I would think was a little longer. But anyway, going to try to keep this under 15 minutes. If you like what you see, make sure you leave a like and comment down below. Subscribe if you wish. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Keep on gaming.